Parents, sometimes we tend to overreact, but the thing is, sometimes we overreact about stuff without even knowing. The Apostle Paul, he sat there and he thought, I want to get to know this culture. Some of us, we don't even understand the culture. Meanwhile, we might say, all music's bad. Do you know what the #1 album on iTunes is right now? Toby Mac, Christian album, okay? #1 album on iTunes right now, okay? Believe it or not, yeah, I know the #1 song on Billboard charts right now is a song called Whistle, a song about oral sex. But guess what? There is some good out there. And the fact is, we as parents, we might have a tendency to overreact and say it's all bad, and throw it all away. And the fact is, maybe we need to start equipping our kids to make these decisions. Because the fact is, our kids are going to turn 18, and the day they turn 18, they can download whatever they want. And they can do whatever they want. Are we equipping them for that day? Or are we just sheltering them and hoping they're going to figure it all out for themselves on that day, miraculously, the day, their birthday? Maybe they'll play the birthday song for them. Anyway, the thing is, we tend to overreact. Here's, unfortunately, when we as parents overreact, the common response to overreaction from teenagers. That common response is, of course, there's broken trust, silence, avoidance, sneaking, all these things because they're responding to our overreaction. So how do we as parents respond? Let's look, because the Apostle Paul actually gives us a perfect example. Let's go back to the scripture here. We see that he was greatly distressed to see that the city was full of idols. Look what he does. Verse 17. So he reasoned in the synagogue with the Jews and the God-fearing Greeks, as well as in the marketplace, day by day with those who happened to be there. And as we read on, we find that he not only talked to people in the synagogues, talked to people in the marketplace, he went around and he started having conversations with them about what he saw. And as a matter of fact, we'll actually start to see a glimpse of his speech. Now, it's funny because I think Christians sometimes want to go back and they go, oh, Paul, man, when he saw those idols, I hope he weaves a whip and goes in there and starts kicking over tables and whipping and like Jesus did in the church to church people. That's right. If you really think about that, when we saw that example, that was what Jesus did in the church because the church was being corrupt. Paul, when he saw all this distressing stuff, what did he do? He responded in dialogue. He responded by reasoning with them. We can actually get a glimpse of his speech. If you look, you can see this famous speech as he stood up in Mars Hill, and you can hear what he says. Look here in verse 22. He says, Men of Athens, I see in every way that you are very religious. For as I walked around and looked carefully at your objects of worship, I even found an altar with the inscription to an unknown God. Now, what you worship as something unknown, I am going to proclaim to you. It's like he basically said, hey, guys, I was looking at all these idols. And I saw Ra, the sun god or whatever. I saw this one. And I even saw there's this unknown God. That's funny. I know who it is who you've been worshiping all along. His name is Jesus. Let me tell you about him. See, Paul takes their culture. He uses it as a springboard for discussion. He uses their culture as the beginning of his message, and he uses it to talk about Jesus. And to be honest, he actually even goes on. Look at verse 28. He says, for in him we live and move and have our being, as some of your own poets have said. And there's quotes right there. Look, we are his offspring. You know what those are right there? Lady Gaga quotes. Okay, well, whoever Lady Gaga was 2,000 years ago, he quoted the lyrics of the day from the pagan poets. He actually quoted pagan poets' lyrics. Parents, grandparents, aunts, uncles, yes, we should be distressed with what we see. But guys, we need to keep an eye on culture. No, don't go buy all the CDs and listen to them all the time. We need to keep an eye on what's going on in this culture. Paul prudently used it as a springboard for discussion. As a parent, we need to not overreact. We need to turn our overreaction into interaction. Instead of overreacting, what if we looked for opportunities to interact? What about if when you see that there's a popular YouTube video, a popular song, talk to the parent who just said, oh yeah, my kid was listening to Whistle the other day. I said, oh, did you ask her if she knew what it was about? Ask. Don't overreact. Hey, that song will not be played here. This is not the house of Jezebel. Don't overreact. They're going to be like, mom and dad will flip out, can't talk with them. No. Turn it into interaction. Go, hey, do you know what that song's about? What do you think it's about? I don't know. So should you listen? Yeah, but I don't think of that. Well, should you listen to it? We're going to talk a lot in the parent workshop about how to have those discussions today.